The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. Did you notice the letter S in sun is capitalized? This is to give respect to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Have you seen the Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican's front yard? The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. By their own words, they were not seeking to know our Creator or Jesus. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name. For the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. So why is there a single letter O in the Hebrew text 1,095 times? No proper English was used? The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing? The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding? Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. As the text is revealed, you can taste the writer's style of wording. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. Okay, this will be chapter 10, but what I'm going to do is show you the formats that I have that I'm posting above. This is chapter 9, and I found 2 parts in 9, or 2 different stories. So let me zoom in here a little bit and try to show you that this, in a 3-verse, this is like a statement, and these 2 are connected together with a comma to make a longer sentence. But what they do is they kind of tell you about this first sentence. Now this makes a small paragraph, and then the pattern repeats itself, but what happens are these 2 actually make a larger paragraph, and then I put a double space, and then the subject changes. Then here is a 4-verse format, which I use a comma. So this here in the first sentence or first verse, and then these two become like a long sentence. And then they are grouped as a small paragraph, and they too, two of them in a row, become a larger paragraph. So the text that you're seeing is what I found in, or I reformat, or I edited to show the first writer's format. We have talking about Jesus and how he will go on to the other side of Lake Galilee for the Armenians. That means that at this time, or a long time in Israel, that West Manasseh had actually was conquered by the Armenians. And then here is the story again about Jesus, but he's going to be sent. And his name is our greatest counselor. And I did change this word from wonderful, but the intent was greatest, so I didn't feel that this was a major change in the text. When I have a major change or need, I have or I edit so the text is gray. And then here I'm ready for part 10. So this will be part 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up Psalms here on this side. And I forgot to hit the bathroom, so I will be back in a little bit. All right, I made it back. And what I'm going to do is let those Psalms go through for probably about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to remove them. But those are the Psalms that I want to show you the text mainly about Jesus. In the description that I have in white, scrolling across the bottom, it tells you where to find the Psalms and Daniel's and the books that I've done already and put together as one book. And that is what I am doing. I am finding the first writer's formats, and then I am combining the text to tell the story as one complete story. Okay. Woe to those who enact evil statutes. Well, I guess I can cut that again. And now you can see I've got a 3-verse format where this is a statement, and then these two are pretty much saying what that statement is about. Now, what this text doesn't do is connect to the text that I've done. I left off here in a 4-verse format, and I have 3. To those who constantly, can't say record, constantly bring about unjust decisions. Okay, now when I have a concordance here, oops, need the Stream Deck. That helps me a whole lot. So what I can do here is I can show you the concordance. Now this is the 1977 NSAB text, and they made a concordance that they hide from everybody now because they came along and seen what I was doing way back in 1995. What you see here is I said I didn't like the word recorded. So over here, this is the Hebrew word, and down here in the parentheses tells you all these words, what they used to say what this word is in different sentences. Now I see written here 126 times. So I look for the one that's being used the most to say, okay, can I use that? You know, when I'm looking back and forth, to those who constantly record, constantly write. I could use the word write and not writing. That's used 31 times. But let's say, I don't think they had the Hebrew word constantly. Okay. Now, what this means is that this word was most likely put into the English text in 1611. Because what this is over here, a concordance, is the words that are a guy named Strong went through and made a concordance of the Hebrew text of the most important words in that verse. And he did not find that word, okay? So he thought it was more important to have record. So when I see that, I have a hard time keeping the word consistently. Or I could put my own word in there to get back to more of using the correct word. Now, when it says unjust decisions, that's not really the word either that should be truthfully said. So I've got to look at decisions because I'm thinking it's laws. If they got statutes, now a statute is the highest command from our Creator. And a statute is circumcision, and for most people, there's a one for priest, but for the people, a statute is a male must be circumcised, and then the celebration of the passing over, his passing over of their firstborn males in Egypt. So that's what a statute is, and there's only two. Well, there's two of them, so I have to leave the S on there. And to those who write unjust, I'm going to say laws. Let me see what over here, decisions, fruit, labor, work. Okay. And okay, now that we see that I'm actually saying that I need to add this word to be more correct. Okay. And what did I say for constantly? Continually? Let me see if I can get some help from the secular dictionary here. Whoops, wrong mouse. By going to the theorist, or whatever this is called. Continually. Regularly. I'm going to say regularly because when I'm using the word regularly, I'm intending on the text saying that when the judge makes a law, they're overriding our Creator's laws that He give them. So these are the laws here. So I'm going to change this word to here, but to those who, well, the only ones who are writing are scribes. So let's put in who they are. Those who enact or bring about evil statutes, and to those scribes, regular writing, unjust laws, to those judges. No, because you need the scribe to write it, so they all follow that. Okay, so what we have is two group verses in a 3-verse format that definitely show up as now as it was written. Okay. Of the text I've done, these are very short verses. Usually they are a lot longer and more in-depth detail. But when they get small like this, and it should be woes, meaning more than just one woe. Woes to those who enact, okay, and to those scribes regularly writing unjust laws. So you can see by the text it's being corrupted. And these words don't sound like they're coming from our Creator. We have no idea whether they're a prophecy and He's speaking, or is this a scribe who is talking to the people after he prophesies. And that's where we get a lot of history of what actually had happened when the prophet prophesies. He would argue with the people about what he's said. And then I need another space here to divide that that subject from the next subject, but it still has to relate to this. Okay. Unjust laws to deprive let me see here. I just don't like, I'm really trying to make sure that the text is easy to understand for a 12-year-old. I don't need them, or I don't want them going to a secular dictionary, because a lot of the words in the Bible define their meaning, and I'm making sure that I use specific words, so if they search that word, of all the words, when they look at it, they'll understand the meaning of that word. Oh. It's almost like oppress. Now here I've got the word pervert. Stretch. And I don't need the word needy. I need the word justice. Stretch justice. So oh, this is not helping. Okay, I need to come back here. I've spent enough time there. I will do again a theorist. To rob, remove. To remove justice. To rob the poor and his people of their rights. To rob, I believe that's easier for 12-year-olds to understand. To rob justice. Whose justice? His justice. His justice. Oh, here it is. Poor rob here as well. To rob his justice. You can't plunder the orphans, so that is out. Rob his justice. From have to be our poor to make it first person. Our poor people. Not poor. It's of the weaker. They don't have no say. So I'm thinking that's within the tent of the meaning of the word. So I'm just adding it there. From our weaker people. In order that in order to, I guess now I need the word plunder them. To, I don't know if that's right either. So in order to get to make their own gain. Orphans is not going to be used either. So I ended up with the word spoil here. In order to in order for them to it's telling me take from them is the way I'm reading the text as the intent of what's being said. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to say the spoil take, is that within the shadow of the word? You bet it is. So that will be that text there. Now it's kind of like, how do these words connect to these words? I don't need the word now. The question is, what will they do in the days, has to be an S. When an army comes down, it just doesn't happen in one day, and it's going to be an Akbar creator. So I have to say that this day is our creator's days of punishment. It's not punishment, is it? It's devastation. That means that the prophecy has already been told, and have to have an understanding of what prophecies have happened before and how everyone is devastation is covering the pillaging, the killing, the burning of the houses, the fields, and taking them as captives. And the days, this has to be our, because he's there to make it first person. In the days of our devastation. Coming from afar. I got 3 verses, that's 3 verses. Okay. This word here. To whom will they flee? To where will they? No, to whom will they flee for help? That's too many words. What is my best conspiracy? Okay, XT Force. The conspiracy is what I'm showing you over here, that's rotating the Psalms. There are hidden formats in the Bible. In the very beginning of when I show in my intro, I explained to people that if you study Exodus 20 through 117, there are 12 commandments right here. So there's always been 12 commandments, and that's the conspiracy that they're covenanted up. Let me show you another conspiracy. By them changing one word here, I was looking to find out what these boards are, because I literally put all the boards together and counted them and checking the text. And they made this a hip roof. That's the only way you can put 5 pieces together. So this is the roof that is being revealed for the first time. And it's all because they changed one word and nobody else had figured that out. If you think the disciples know each other's names, well, here's a big surprise. There are 3 different lists of the 12 disciples, and none of them are the same. And if you do like a internet search, their 12 don't match either any of these 12. And then when you really open up the 1611 preface and you read the preface, you'll finally read all the Bible. Now, what they did here was give reasons to why they can edit the text, and it's because the light and feeling we have attained unto ourselves, not by living righteously to understand the text. Then they boldly put a great clerk is Gregory the Divine with a capital D. Now here comes them being happy that the first Roman emperor, he corrected the calendar and the order and ordered the year according to the course of the sun. And notice how the sun has a capital letter S. That's to honor the sun god Ra, and that's why there's an Egyptian obelisk in the Vatican courtyard. But we have to look beyond what the text says here and say, what was the calendar like for the Babylonian Empire, the Persian Empire, and now the Roman Empire? That's because when Nebuchadnezzar woke up eating grass, he declared the Israelis' God is the highest God. And then all the things that between David did and the burning of, or trying to throw men into a furnace and come out not harmed, witnessing by the kings, this is why they had sent everything back to Jerusalem and had them rebuild Jerusalem. But if you were thinking, they actually here wrote down what you were studying the Bible for. Here it is. Lastly, the end reward for the study thereof, and that would be the text in the Bible, is to have fellowships with the saints and a participation of a heavenly nature. Is that what you read the Bible for? So these guys are not the good guys. And here it says right here, the inditter, the Holy Spirit. The inditter means a single person. The single person, the Holy Spirit. Okay? So that's the Holy Spirit that they put into the text. Now, Jesus defines what is Holy Spirit, but a lot of people don't know that. So let me bring that text up. There are 2 verses that Jesus we can find that says what Holy Spirit is. He says, not you who speaks, but the Holy Spirit. And here it says, is not you who speaks, but the Spirit of our Father. So when you understand that they're using this Spirit as breath or words, then we look to these 2 verses where Zacharias is, and he's going to be talking about John. He prophesies saying what John's going to do. Well, that means our Creator's words were coming right out their mouth. He wouldn't have known all the things that he said. Elizabeth does the same thing, only they said she said, and if you correct it, it's prophesied about the son in her womb. Now that you understand that he can speak prophecy right through somebody's mouth, and it's our Father who speaks through, now I have to put up the word in you. And that comes from these two verses where Jesus says his words will teach you that very hour what you should say. And it says here, I cast out demons by the word from our Creator. Then the kingdom then my kingdom from our Creator has come upon you. So Jesus defines what is Holy Spirit. Therefore, there is no Trinity. There is no virgin birth. Now, to explain the virgin birth to you, we have, and how they thought 2,500 years ago, we go to Hannah, where she is vowing before her priest that she will receive a son from our Creator. So they thought at that time the male seed is visible and the female didn't have a seed for conception, but they thought that a soul of the male and the seed from a male caused conception. That was how they thought. That's why she was asking and vowing for a son. So that knowledge of not knowing females have a seed probably was believed right up until somewhere in the 18th century or 1890s maybe. So that's how they thought, and that's how they could trick the people to think that there was a virgin birth, that the soul just came without seed and formed. So, but that's not how they thought had happened. They had thought that you still needed a male seed and the soul to conceive. So that's the best conspiracy explaining I can give you. So what I'm doing here is I'm proving that the text has hidden formats, that when I'm cleaning the text up, this is what happens. What I find is this first statement or verse is a statement, so I put a period on the end. And I put a comma here because these two describe the statement above. And then this becomes a small paragraph known as a psalm, and then another psalm, like psalm. These two become a larger paragraph. So that's the sophistication of the writing, how they wrote over 3,000 years ago, okay? And then in a 4-verse format, I have a comma and then a period, that these two connect together, and then these two connect together to make a paragraph. And then I'm a Hindu. Can you explain the Bible book in short, like God's? Okay. Well, let me explain what's going on in Hindu so you understand I know what I'm talking about. In Buddhists, okay, meditate to have sex with a so-called female goddess. Now that, when you see Ganesh with the foot in the crotch, that's what that is symbolizing, no release. And this building up of energy becomes like an elephant, very mighty, very strong. If you read, I can't think of that monkey's name that they have, that he's carrying a bat around. And then all of a sudden his bat gets big, well, his dick gets big. And then he doesn't know what to do, so he's beaten all the time. But it's encrypted in the stories of not releasing your seed, so you can learn how to meditate and have a sex with a so-called female goddess. So let me show you that in the Bible text here, just to show you that this was written over 2,400 years ago. In this book of a prophet, it says Judah has married the daughter of a foreign god. Well, if it's a foreign god, then it's his daughter, then this is a goddess. And to marry, how do you marry a goddess? Well, you sit and meditate. So that's in the text. Now there's other text in another prophet that says that they're having harlotry in their forehead. I guess I don't know that word, so let me pull it up and see what you're talking about here so I understand. Oh, his name, the Monkey King. Okay, yeah. But there's actually a cartoon of a Monkey King, but it's the same thing. Maybe that's the Monkey King. I can see he's got a stick or a bat there, so thank you. You cannot become gods. Example, the definition of the title God means one who can do everything. If you say gods, then it's not, you're taken away from the title God, meaning more than one, because the title God means one and only. All right. Now, in Genesis, when I go through and do this text like this, what we find is, or what I can find is that the emptiness of space, and our Creator was hovering in his emptiness. Okay? It's like an egg without the shell, okay, to understand it. And the text says that he separated himself from the emptiness. Therefore, he created heaven. Now, then he sent back parts of himself to make the universe. That's why everything is perfect. And we are the ones making decisions that cause us to become against our Creator, or we agree that our Creator exists. Now, Jesus didn't sacrifice himself. That, I know that's what people teach, but when you look at the text, Jesus prays the day before he is sacrificed. Pray means to talk to our Creator, or prayer, yeah. That's prayer means to talk to our Creator. Pray means the act of how you're doing this. Whether you're kneeling, holding your hands together, your arms spread out, and you're facing heaven when you're doing this. So let me explain real quick what heaven is before I get into sacrifice. The star's motion creates a mountain, and the North Star is the top of this mount or mountain, and above the North Star is where heaven is located. So when, I don't know if you know the story about Moses, but he was a servant of our Creator, and he was told that when he's done, come out, hold up his staff, look to heaven, and ask for the plague, and our Creator will bring the plague. Now, Jesus is in this, on a mount near Jerusalem. And there he is talking to our Creator, saying, let your will be done, not mine. See, Jesus, when you look in the text, Abraham, let me bring that up because this is very important. Abraham, at a long time ago, now this would be before Israel was even born, before they went into Egypt. So this is like some of the oldest words of the text that we start having complete stories about. And his name was Abram, and he changed it to Abraham, and he says, I will make of you, or from you, kings shall come forth from you. This is establishing his covenant, or what I call everlasting promises, because he makes promises to different males as he goes through time. Then he says, in him, this king, one of these kings, all the nations, not nations, but races on the earth will be blessed. Now, we don't know what blessed means until our Creator promises David, through his son's seed, will come a king, and our Creator will allow him to have a kingdom in heaven. That is the only words in the whole Bible that tells us why people will enter into heaven. And if you've ever talked to people that say that I seen the light, and then that person dies within a day or two, they witnessed his light or his heaven. Now, with the stars making this motion, or wait, I want to get back to sacrifice. So Abraham, why did he receive this? Is because he was most obedient to our Creator, because he was going to kill his own son and offer his whole body as an offering to our Creator, that I'm willing to offer what I precious the most, because I believe what you're saying I am to obey. So when you hear Jesus being told he has to sacrifice his own body, he wasn't sacrificed, he was willing to obey our Creator. So by obeying our Creator above all other people, of being most obedient to our Creator by his statutes, commandments, and laws, that is what Jesus done, as to guide us to say he is the example how we are able to enter into heaven, by being the most obedient to our Creator. Because everybody does not know about Jesus or live to the laws that he says, because many Christians today couldn't pass the test of what the nation he created to say these people are the example of how I want everybody to live. They fail the test 99% of the time. They are not obedient to our Creator. But what our Creator does, he offers his mercy and his compassion, and has he given Jesus the right to allow people to enter into his heaven in heaven, or his kingdom in heaven. So that's the truth of the text that I'm revealing to people, by saying that the text that I've got here has been overwritten so many times by the bad guys, that when I take a look and clean all this up, I get those beautiful verses. And there is words in a prophet named Jeremiah that they wrote in columns, and you can see I'm writing in columns. So that this text that I'm finding is really revealing how they wrote 2,000-3,000 years ago, and there's not another sophisticated writing like this. Now, I know in Zen they do have writings that they write like groups, kind of like this. So that's what happens cleaning up the text and the knowledge I've been given. Now, in my YouTube description, there is a book called Self-Proof of Afterlife that I tell every male on earth from the ages like 14 to 70 can actually have the experience of going into what is known as the abyss. The abyss is think of the universe with nothing in it, just a blank emptiness. But it's a different dimension of time and space than what we are experiencing here. And there is where our souls are being sent up to the time that Jesus then has a kingdom in heaven. And then those that are in the abyss, that when people die now, they're allowed to go into heaven instead of going into the abyss. But to experience the abyss in the Asian world, they have learned that if they meditate and not sleep at all anymore, or lay down and sleep, that they meditate every night, that after 10 years in this darkness that they're witnessing, that they're just sitting there, there'll be a being that'll come talk to them. And then after 25 years, it's an every night experience that they're among many people, and they call themselves gods, because these beings out there that have died, or their body has died on earth, they have their soul is now in this abyss, and they literally, whatever they think and concentrate, they can create before you. That's why if you lay down and dream, these dreams, they are in your head thinking, they learned what you were thinking, and then they turn around and create that before you. If you study like the Islamic religion, all the names in there, Jesus, David, Jacob, Mary, none of them are exactly like what the Bible has written about them. They use these words to say that they're tied to the Bible, but they're not. They have to deny a lot of things about Jesus. When I question them about a lot of things, they have no answers for me, because I ask them, what is a sin? And they come up with all kinds of. I ask Christians, what is a sin? Well, here's the fact. Okay, you posted a chat and it's been stopped. Okay, I get to see your chat here. I listened that Jesus is coming to take good people to heaven in the future, and some river is drying, and the angel will come out from the deep and sleep. And kill bad people. True or false? This is false. Now, why is it false? Because when Jesus said, when he comes to the earth again, he's going to be seen on earth like a comet coming to the earth. Okay, everybody in the world is going to see this thing coming to the earth. But when he appears, we're going to know it's Jesus. And what he is, let me see, I can allow that. Okay, I didn't know I had a button there that I could do that. That what happens is that when Jesus comes, that's the end of man on earth. All those that he's going to call to heaven will go to heaven. Those that are not, they're going to the abyss. Then our Creator is going to make another dimension of time and space, and he's going to call it hell. And forever, those people that don't believe our Creator exists and have disappointed him, mocked him, they will never, forever be able to enter his heaven and know our Creator as the rest of us in heaven will know him. Anyone on earth that tries to live a really good life, and you know what I'm talking about, where you have consideration for your neighbor, you try to do your best. I believe all those people from every race will enter into heaven. Our Creator made everybody, so He knows everybody what they're doing, because everybody, I hate to lessen our Creator, but I need to use the words, if you've ever heard of AI technology, well, just think of a being that's been around for trillions and trillions and as many trillions as you can think he's existed. You don't think he could come up with something like this? And then what he's done is he even gives us every thought that we have. And our thoughts, what I've realized by always trying to think of how my words come to me, I've realized that I get a lesser thought than another thought. And if I took the lesser thought, I end up being evil. But if I don't take the lesser thought and take the other thought, I get closer to our Creator by telling the truth more. And I learn more by talking to our Creator. So that's how the end of the world is going to exist. It's our choices. And He's going to come on a second coming that He will judge then, and immediately the souls will be removed from the body. And then those that are are bad are going to descend into the abyss. Now, let's see. I was going to mention something here and I've forgotten. Yeah, I've forgotten what I wanted to say, but I'm glad you stopped by. I'm hoping some of this is truthful enough that becomes seeds in your mind that you'll think about what I've said. And if they're truthful, and the more you think about them, in your thought garden, they will grow. And some will grow very large. And if you don't think about them, they're going to stop growing. So that's how I kind of explain in the shorter way of people hearing what I have to say, because a lot of things I say, a lot of people don't understand. But what this practice of meditating to have sex with a female goddess, or a like sex, because a male will have the full experience except for releasing his seed from his body. You must remain single to do this. Now, the building I worked in was an engineering facility, an automotive engineering facility. Because I worked on the most advanced vehicle, which is usually 3 to 4 years, maybe sometimes 6 years ahead of what comes out into the public to be produced. I have met many people around the world, and I have many Hindu friends. And when we would discuss this, a couple of them had a guru. And they said, well, when I go back to India, I'm going to speak to my guru. And I told them what the guru's sex practice was. And when they come back, they told me they were shocked that I was telling the truth, because he's never seen his guru get all mad, because what he's doing is he's hiding his practice from everybody else to become like him, to become a god. But the problem is that okay, that's what I was going to show you. Tibetan monks. This is a picture of Tibetan monks in the high mountains of Tibet. These guys go up and meditate, and they send their soul out the top of their head, okay? This is how they die, and then they put the gold leafing around their body. But if you've ever seen this picture here, or in the envelopes like this is what they're saying. They're meditating, they're dying, but they're releasing their soul out the top of their head. Okay. Now, when I come up here and show you a close-up of this guy's being treated as a god, look at his forehead. He's got a hole through his forehead. So he's made it stick around up there, and then he actually released it out his head in a force. And just a second, I got to take this call. I've got an emergency at home, and it's my mother and my dad. They're really old here, and my dad can't sit up in bed. So I have to call this video off right now and leave. But nice to have you stop by. I stream as many times as I can during the day, 2-3 times. So stop back. Sorry, I really have to run, but I appreciate the conversation.